So, how has Pakistan evolved since 1988? What we see is that there is a persistence and a consolidation of arbitrary rule. So, the behavior of the state machinery, the behavior of members of the state apparatus has continued to manifest high levels of arbitrariness. This sometimes is motivated by political interests, and at other occasions, it is simply a reality of day-to-day functioning in Pakistan. Any attempt to reduce this level of arbitrariness quickly runs into opposition from the senior layers of the bureaucracy itself that do not want their arbitrary power over their subordinates to be lessened. And it also runs into opposition from the political leadership that does not want its arbitrary power over the senior layer of the civil service to be curtailed. This arbitrary rule has profound implications in terms of the structure of the political economy, in terms of the level of corruption and mismanagement, in terms of the use of public employment as a means of parking people who are otherwise unemployable. All of this contributes to a situation where the Pakistani state, although it is not able to tax a lot of people effectively, it still has a large amount of expenditure that it must incur on the maintenance of the bureaucracy, on the maintenance of the ruling elite. So we have a very tough situation in terms of the ability of the state to deliver services effectively because of its own internally chaotic and arbitrary nature. Then we have a pandering to religious sentiment by practically all the mainstream political parties. In Pakistan, a point that is often made is that the religious parties have never really secured a large segment of the popular vote or the electoral vote. And this is a fair point. But what this point ignores is that when we look at the People's Party reference the Second Amendment, reference the development of a Ministry of Religious Affairs, reference its outlawing of the consumption of alcohol and games of chance during its waning days, to the very robust Islamization of General Ziaul Haq, as well as the parties that follow the end of the Zia regime, you have a situation where all of the mainstream political parties embrace a religious narrative. So they have all become communal parties in a sense. As a result, there is no really secular mainstream party left in Pakistan. And that effectively means that there is less distinction to be drawn between the discourse of different parties. And that is enough to convince people to continue to vote for mainstream parties for the most part. Then there is continued political engineering by members of the military, by members of the bureaucracy, in order to secure political outcomes that are consistent with whatever they think is best. So since 1988, Pakistan has not been able to organize a free and fair election. Every government that comes in faces a crisis of legitimacy. It is given to oppressing its opposition, often with the support of the military, while it is itself in the military's good books. And then when it falls from the military's favor, it itself then becomes a victim of its erstwhile patrons. And the People's Party, as well as the PMLN, as well as the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, have all gone through this cycle. They are unable to actually work together in order to counteract this political engineering. Then there is a de facto diarchy in the country that emerges from this political engineering. So it doesn't really matter who is formally in power. The military continues to call all of the important shots in the country. And this situation creates a diarchy in Pakistan, where the form of the government, even while it is constitutional or democratic or parliamentary, does not reflect the substance of the government, which remains highly authoritarian. Now, one interesting development that did occur was the advent of judicial populism. And this judicial populism, which started in 2005, did for a while create a more independent judiciary. However, what we have seen is that since 2022, that independence has been gradually stripped away, and the judiciary has lost its independent standing and appears to have returned to its role as a collaborator and a legitimizer for whatever unconstitutional or semi-constitutional maneuvers the military and its political loyalists have at any particular point in time. So Pakistan today is very much a bureaucratic empire that is struggling to achieve coherent governance, that is struggling with a basic crisis of political and constitutional legitimacy and order. It is a fractured state in terms of the lines of authority. And it is a state that continues to behave in a highly arbitrary fashion when it comes to dealing with its own citizens, when it comes to dealing with members of the political opposition, and when it comes to dealing with important policy issues that affect the well-being of the country at large.